Open 2023. We are back with the run-off bracket weekend, and we are continuing on this weekend with a match between Rubber Conquest and OWC France B to see if they can make it through into the next stage. I'm Sad Shiva, and I'm joined by the wonderful Dio. Needs no introduction. How are you, Mr. Dio?
I'm doing all right. It's a very nice afternoon here, so I'm happy to be casting some matches, having a good time watching the Corsace stream. We got a good matchup between these two teams. Rubber Conquest, the second seed out of Group B. OWC France B, I believe the third seed out of Group C, if I'm remembering correctly. Rubber Conquest with TFGE, Zubs, Chihuahua, BGM, Chalk Gamer, and Nusu. A mostly Chilean team with the addition of Zubs and Chihuahua. And I believe BGM... I think they're all Chilean. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the rest of the roster is Chilean besides Zubs and Chihuahua. OWC France B with BA, Musty, Charlie, Torapatat, B-Prod, and Araki on the roster. Both of these teams with managers who are also players. We saw pretty good matches out of both of these teams in the group stage, with Rubber Conquest losing to the Leftovers in tiebreaker and Starbound 5-3. All three of those teams were the top three teams by average score, so a very competitive group and competitive matches for Rubber Conquest, and of course beating the lower seeded team in the group, Ice-T Jokowi 5-1. OWC France B also having I believe it was 1-2 group stage. So both of these teams with the same scoreline coming out of groups, and a lot of really solid scores from both rosters. So I'm gonna be expecting some good plays out of both of these teams. I think Rubber Conquest is going to have an interesting time with this pool. They're a very good speed team, and there's not a lot of speed maps on this pool. So I think OWC France B is going to be happy with that, but Rubber Conquest still with really good mechanics players, especially Chihuahua, known as a just ridiculous all-rounder.
Yeah, agreed. I think what's really cool about both these teams is that despite both of them being very capable and having genuinely incredible players on both sides, they also have very different skill sets respectively. You would expect OWC France B, if you know the French team's history in recent tournaments, you'd know that these guys are quite relatively strong, well-rounded on the Nomad specifically, but also quite good on the hidden. I think this team is going to benefit a lot, specifically off of Nomad 2. I think that's going to be one of those surprise maps that we're going to see from OWC France B, potentially a decent performance here. Granted, this one's a little bit more stamina heavy, but seeing players like Fie and Musty in there, very capable, Toto Patate as well. They've got some good teams for that. And then on the other side, you've got Rubber Conquest, who are very powerful in the mechanics department. We've already talked about it, Dio. It's very strong with this team, kind of that three-man core of THEE, Zubs, and Chihuahua. And then you've got mostly Nusu and Chalk Gamer filling in, Chalk Gamer for the hard rock and Nusu for anything else. BGM, we have not seen at all in this tournament so far. So maybe we'll see an appearance for the first time, Dio, but we're looking at the bans so far, and Fremod 1 is the first ban here for Rubber Conquest.
Yeah, I think this pick makes a little bit of sense for Rubber Conquest, not wanting to give over this kind of hybrid tapping and tech map at the same time. A lot of cut streams and aim control required at 210 BPM for that map, as well as the stamina. So if your roster, for example, isn't comfortable with that kind of mixture of skill sets, you're going to have a tough time there. And it's actually the Nomad 2 ban for OWC France B. I think likely the stamina requirement on that map may be a bit too much for them, and I can see why. I think a lot of the players on OWC France B really thrive on flow aim heavy maps without that kind of high stamina requirement. And yes, this is a very flow aim heavy Nomad 2, but it does have that higher stamina requirement at 200 BPM. So it's pretty tough to perform on both of those at the same time if you don't have the requisite stamina to do so. And definitely for Rubber Conquest, again, a team that enjoyed abusing speed in their matches in the group stage, I think will be completely comfortable with the stamina on something like that Nomad 2. So pretty good ban for OWC France B if they aren't comfortable with that stamina requirement. And just based off the Fremod 1, you can kind of expect something like a Nomad 4 first pick for this team. Very similar in style to the Fremod 1, with lots of cut streams, slider streams, Axel, decel stuff, sort of reminiscent of the 2019, 2020 era of Rail-Lazy Nomad 4s that were all cut stream focused rather than heavy slider focused. That honor belongs to the Nomad 5 this weekend. could also see something along the lines of a DT3 if you're really focusing in on aim control for OWC France B. But like you said, the Nomad's a pretty good strength for this team, so I'm kind of assuming a Nomad 4.
Yeah, Nomad 4 is definitely a valid option here. We could also potentially see the Hidden 2, as that has not been immediately banned here for Rubber Conquest, and OWC France B have multiple very competent hidden players, but they're definitely taking their time here, being a little careful with what they want to go for into their opening pick. They've got some good options. I mean, we haven't talked about the Hiddens just yet. Hidden 1 kind of being a bit of a unique one, more on the aim control and more mechanics heavy compared to most Hidden ones that are more based on that consistency and kind of standard awkward aim. This one being a little bit more mechanics heavy with some very fast snap aim, triple heavy aim control. But the Hidden 2, I think, is a very possible pick for OWC France B. They've got multiple really formidable reading players, and Rubber Conquest do not really have that much to respond with. We have seen a couple of their players do decently well on the anti-mod free mods as a very small, minor, but noticeable reference for their reading capabilities. But it's safe to say OWC France B definitely more than capable. But it's going to be the double time 1 that's picked here, Dio. I am very surprised about this one. Why lean into a map that's very clearly your opponent's also strength instead of just baiting it and letting them go for it instead? I think this is quite a bold one for OWC France B.
Definitely a bold pick. Both of these teams were really strong on the DT1 in group stages. Average score for Rubber Conquest on DT1 across all their matches was about 860k. Average for OWC France B was about 850k per player. So both of these teams are extremely good on the DT1 skill set that we saw in the round robin in the group stages. That map was a little bit burstier, a little higher BPM than this map, which is only 225 BPM. Very, very slow DT1. And at AR 10.3, that's not usually an approach rate that you see for 225 BPM. So it's going to feel a little bit higher approach rate, feel a little bit more like 10.5 than 10.3 because of the note density. So the high approach rate reading is something to deal with here for these players. That said, both of these teams extremely good at this skill set, extremely good on aim mechanics. So I'm expecting a relatively close map for this one. And I think a lot of times the first pick like this just comes down to comfort on the day. You want to get your comfortable maps out first, get your jitters out before you get some relatively more difficult picks later on in the pool. That said, a lot of early breaks coming through for OWC France B. Only B-Prod left with the FC versus the 4-way still holding strong for Rubber Conquest a quarter of the way into the map.
I mean, my big thought here, Dio, with this map pick is that if you know that you and your opponent are comfortable, why would you use that as your opening pick? Early stage here is very valuable in terms of mental and early game kind of comfort and jitters being released. This is a very bold one, like you mentioned. It's not bold because they're both good at it. It's bold because you already know your opponent's good, so why use it now when your opponent could just lean into it for you? And we're seeing that already instantly punished here because Rubber Conquest are looking really dominant in this early stage. 3-way FC so far from Chihuahua, Zubs, and Truck Gamer. VA with a break as well, resetting that combo for them. We do see a competent recovery from OWC France B, but the only break from Rubber Conquest being Noose, it was looking really brutal, but Zubs does go down though. So the combo advantage is kind of evening out. In fact, shrinking maybe a little bit, but really not enough to be valuable there. But Truck Gamer and Nusu both go down. So suddenly the combo advantage has been flipped in favor of OWC France B, but they've got a little bit of way to go. There's still 300,000 score on their way.
Ooh, there goes B-Prod though, right before the break, and that pretty much kills any chance at a breakpoint going over. The only combo for OWC France B now alive on Tora Patat, but Chihuahua Arj still holding on to this full combo for Rubber Conquest. This team, a lot of the same members as Osu True Skill, for example, continually comes in and flips the narrative on a lot of teams year after year in Corsace. A rename for this year because Osu True Skill no longer actually exists as a server, so taking up the old mantle of Rubber Conquest. And Chihuahua shaking like a banshee at the ending there, but will hold on to the full combo, will secure a first pick breakpoint for Rubber Conquest against OWC France B. Looking very, very good for the mostly Latin American roster.
Beautiful opening start for Rubber Conquest. You can just generally see a big balance here in comfort and just general combo game, taking that lead by just over 230k around there. A valiant effort from Toto Batat, but France B unfortunately get punished massively with that bold opening pick. Rubber Conquest grinning and being very glad they can get that win off a very contested pick. Like we talked about before, Dio, both these teams have had a great history of really high scores on this map, but Rubber Conquest on paper do have a better team for this mechanics heavy stuff. The DT1 is one of the most notorious slots for that mechanics to be used. And now it's Rubber Conquest's chance to get a second point on the board with their opening pick. What are your thoughts on this, Dio? Do you think they're going to chain more with this DT, or are they going to lean into a different skill?
I think you just go Nomad 1. Oh, no, it's going to be DT3, actually. Okay, interesting.
Oh.
I was thinking Nomad 1 because it's 235 BPM, AR 9. I think AR 9.6. So relatively comfortable, very much the same skill set. But DT3 also, it's still a DT map, but it's like a fake DT map. It's all aim control, a lot of 1/3 and 1/6 in this map, in addition to the 1/2, 1/4. So you've got a lot of changes in Beat Snap Divisor, a lot of finger control, which feels like playing different BPMs, all at really, really high spacing in this map. It's a lot of, for example, linear high spacing 1/3 patterns, which are like I want to say like 125-ish BPM, punctuated with really, really high spacing triples at 165 BPM, alongside a lot of like 190-ish short bursts in this map. So there's a lot of different BPMs that you have to be able to play really, really comfortably in this map and maintain your aim at the same. Did I say maintain? Maintain your aim at the same time. That's a tongue twister for you.
Maintain your aim at the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Time frame. Oh, maintain your aim at the same time frame.
Yeah, say that 5 times fast. So it's a pretty tricky pick. The DT3s throughout the tournament are going to be like this, and DT4 will take up that mantle, I assume, once we get to that size of map pool. But all really focused on kind of ulti, aim control, finger control, hybrid stuff, mostly with the aim control as the emphasis, as is usually the case for Corsace maps.
Yeah, this is some filthy high BPM aim control on top of all the things you've mentioned, the Beat Snap Divisor changes and the aim consistency and control required to keep up with the insane speed that this map needs. It's pretty brutal, but Rubber Conquest have got the team for it. Chihuahua, Zubs, TFGE, and Chalk Gamer is going to be in it for Rubber Conquest. OWC France B, B-Pro, Araki, Fie, and Musty. And here we go, first ramp up of this map. Araki and B-Pro both drop a full reset, actually, for OWC France B. And despite Rubber Conquest losing 3 main combos there, Chihuahua, the only man to hold on so far to the big combo. And with that, they're going to have a very dominant early lead. This map is also relatively short here, Dio. This single combo from Chihuahua is really punishing. We're seeing recoveries here for OWC France B. And oh my god, Chihuahua Arch, full name, don't at me, continues to hold on to this combo, going past the halfway mark. We're going up to another ramp-up section now. Zubs and Chalk Gamer both break. TFGE, brilliant recovery here. More breaks from through ODC France B. It's just Fie holding on to any substantial combo, but Chihuahua completely outshines him. Chalk Gamer drops again. Zubs drops again as well. It's just Fie for OWC France B, but it's so dominant on this double time 3. Chihuahua refuses to let go. My goodness, Mamma Mia. TFGE as well, holding great with this recovery. And more ramp-ups here just lead to more and more domination as Chihuahua looks absolutely unstoppable here. Can he hold on to this FC towards the ending? It gets more and more difficult the longer this map runs, and that control gets so much more required in this later on. Another massive break from B-Pro, Araki, and Musty. Fie loses that big combo. TFGE finally drops that massive combo, and Chihuahua, valiant effort, but unfortunately doesn't get the FC, but the damage has already been done. Rubber Conquest a 2-0.
Yeah, that's a really solid first pick for Rubber Conquest. Look at that, almost double team score for Rubber Conquest over OWC France B. The best score from OWC France, 400k, versus the 600k and 965k one miss choke from TFGE and Chihuahua, respectively. Just kind of disgusting overall team score from Rubber Conquest on that map. Really, really solid first pick for them. And if you have an advantage, a substantial advantage on really alt-heavy, finger control intensive, aim control style picks like that, you're in a very, very good spot in this pool. Not only that, you won out on basic aim mechanics already with the DT1, so there's there's not that much left for OWC France B to pick. I think you probably try and lean into the very few things that aren't this sort of thing in the pool for OWC France B, which kind of amounts to stuff like Hard Rock 2, DT2 potentially, but you already lost on DT1, DT3. You don't really want to pick that. No Mod 4, No Mod 5 also are good picks here, and maybe something like the Free Mod 2. But definitely a change of pick strategy from the early DT1 pick we saw from OWC France B, having to pivot here to something they may not have been wanting to pick earlier on in this match. That is the Nomad 4 control line by you. 180 BPM tech stream focus in this map, mapped by Cubby. Lots of cut streams, lots of slider streams, lots of XL, decel, and a little bit of finger control and sliders, but that really does take a backseat to the stream flow aim in this map.
Yeah, this pool's Nomad group is a little bit rare where we see two maps in both the Nomad 4 and the Nomad 5, which have very heavy tech elements. But the Nomad 4 definitely more leaning towards that cut stream and that weird control requirement here, whereas the Nomad 5 is slider hell. But we haven't made it to that just yet. Maybe in the near future. But Nomad 4 is going to be picked up for OWC France B, a very solid pick here for them. Rubber Conquest have already shown that fear from the OWC French roster, French B roster, might I add, in their tech abilities with that 3 mod 1 ban. So we're going into Nomad 4, OWC France B need to get a point on the board because Rubber Conquest are looking on a bit of a rampage with that early break point. And as long as Rubber Conquest keep leaning into those strengths, especially after proving their competency on that DT3, anything is possible with this roster on this pool in particular. So OWC France B on a very important map that they have to take down. And here we go. Early miss from Araki is not going to help him too much here. But going into this little intro section, a little bit of a stream, a little bit of space, Musty drops. And those are the only combos. And here we go. We're going into the Kiai. Zubs drops, Chihuahua drops, 2 misses from Rubber Conquest. And it is even back again. That early miss from Araki is going to do much, but B-Prod goes down. That's the last FC gone for OWC France B. TFGE and Nusu continue to hold on to that combo in this Kiai.
Yeah, this is just brutal for OWC France B. Already a full team reset versus, again, now just the FC for Nusu on the side of Rubber Conquest, as everyone else on this team has reset as well. But the score lead's already closing in on 300k. Another double reset for Zubs and TFGE does come in, so you have better supporting combo for OWC France B. But there goes Musty. And at this point, I mean, there's not a lot you can do as this French roster to combat this team score from Rubber Conquest. You just have to pray for Nusu to miss and hope you do better on the back half of this map. But that is a tall task. Already 300k, the score lead. It's almost half of OWC France B's entire team score as the score lead for Rubber Conquest right now. TFGE does reset again, but it's just not going to be enough without a reset from Nusu and Chihuahua. Zubs will find another drop as well. But again, these are not the scores that you need the reset from. And for OWC France B, with another reset to come through for Araki and a 450k score lead for Rubber Conquest here, closing in on the end of the map, it's all but over. Look at that score lead for Rubber Conquest. Nusu, Chihuahua +1 can 3v4 this roster from OWC France B, as TFGE and Zub's scores are both under the score lead for Rubber Conquest. So 3v4, no matter how you slice it, as long as Chihuahua and Nusu are part of the roster. Just domination from Rubber Conquest so far in this match.
Yeah, 3 S ranks for Rubber Conquest. Really, really nice stuff. But unfortunately for OWC France B, too little, too late. An admirable effort from B-Prod and FIE to try and recover, but this map is just not long enough for them. Just under the 2-minute mark there. It's way too short for them to recover. Those early breaks being way too detrimental for them. And Nusu with a great performance there. Normally Nusu's the man to fill in for the super trio of TFGE, Zubs, and Chihuahua, but the man has done so well in these previous scores, and he's proving himself to be a very competent 4-digit player, completely shredding that No Mod 4 and putting OWC France B in a really, really scary position.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot to be in now. You've lost aim, you've lost aim control, you've lost tech and stream tech at that. You've already got 2 other stream maps banned out in this pool as well, so there's not a lot you're looking towards now if you are OWC France B as kind of guaranteed picks. I think you're going to have to dip into that hidden 2, like you said earlier, in order to kind of find some footing in this match, because that is one of the other things that is really different in this pool compared to a lot of other things. There's only 2 low AR maps. It is the hidden 2 and the free mod 2. Those are the only low AR maps. But for Rubber Conquest now, you've got DT1 is a win, DT3 is a win, Nomad 4 is a win. You can pick almost anything you want. It's going to be the sole speed mechanics map in this pool. Double time 2, 252 BPM burst spam is the name of the game in this one. Also results in the star rating being absurdly high at 7.71 stars. It kind of lies to you. It's a little bit overstarred, if I do say so myself. Probably one of the easiest maps in the pool, despite the high star rating, just because if you can burst 252, you can play this map really, really well. It's one of the only simple mechanics-focused picks in the pool, alongside the DT1 and the Nomad 1. So in that regard, I think it's an interesting pick for Rubber Conquest. You've already shown you can win on aim control and tech. You could pick into those. You've already shown you can win on pure aim mechanics. You could pick into that with the Nomad 1, but you decided to go with something a little bit different. And maybe it's a matter of comfort, maybe it's a matter of mental advantage, but it is an interesting pick nonetheless. That said, I think it's a really good pick for this roster. They're all relatively good speed players on this kind of bursty sort of map. They all had really, really good scores on the free mod 1 in the round robin, for example. So I think this is a very, very good pick for this roster.
Yeah, I agree. I think this map, despite being still more leaning for Rubber Conquest, being quite a similar situation with DT1, where despite Rubber Conquest definitely having a more comfortable and strong mechanics roster, OWC France B are capable. And I emphasize capable because not necessarily on paper does this team have a full lineup of exceptional mechanics speed players like you have in Rubber Conquest with Zubs and Chihuahua in particular. But you do still have Toto Potato there, and you do still have Iraqi. So there is still chances here for potential OWC France B to get something here. You don't have that intense stamina requirement on the Nomad 2, so you can flesh out that speed ability a little bit more, but it really still on paper is massively in favor of Rubber Conquest. This pick doesn't surprise me at all. They're going to lean into their core strengths, and we're going into the intro section of this map. You already kind of get a gist of what this is. Multiple big high BPM 5-note bursts. Yeah, that was a rough break there for him. But yeah, generally this map has lots of 5-note bursts, super high BPM. Let me just quickly go double check what BPM is. This is 252 BPM speed here with lots of 5-note bursts, and on the key eyes in particular, some really high 10, even 15-note bursts that you saw there. Another drop from Musty and B-Prod. But for Nusu and Chot Gamer, they're looking great in their combo. It is just Haraki, however, and obviously France B holding onto the FC, the only man in their way for Rubber Conquest to secure themselves that victory despite holding onto that lead so far. It is looking purely so far as a comfort diff for this team.
Yeah, I mean, look at the AC. The best AC on OWC France B right now is 94% for Toto Patat, and the worst AC on Rubber Conquest is high 93 AC for Zubs. Everybody else is above 96, and Iraqi drops the full combo. That's just the map. It's over. I mean, with this low of accuracy on the side of OWC France B, you need to have multiple full combos to be able to compete with these kinds of accuracies on the side of Rubber Conquest. And, well, with no FCs left, that isn't going to be happening. B-Prod does have a combo, but it's only able to match Zubs, and so Zubs with higher AC once again is going to outperform B-Prod. There's the miss for B-Prod as well. It's a full team reset once again for OWC France B, and I don't know, I said it on the last map, it's just brutal for OWC France B. There's not really anything they can do to win this map. It's already over. Nusu and Zubs are going to continue to extend this score lead even further in Rubber Conquest's favor. Same for Chihuahua, who doesn't have that high a combo, but has 98.5 AC on this pick. And this team is just demolishing OWC France B right now. Going to be up 4-0 at the end of this map. Nusu finally misses, but it just won't matter. And yeah, like you said, team comfort diff on this map. This is one of the picks that we expected to see early on from Rubber Conquest, and indeed it does come out as their second pick. Putting themselves up 4-0 now over the full French roster, and looking to knock them out here and move on to the top 16 for themselves. They still have 2 more wins to get before they get to that point, but it's not looking good for OWC France B right now.
Yeah, it's just a straight-up comfort difference like we already talked about. Nusu and Zubs especially killing it here with some beautiful scores, 600k respectively each. S rank from Zubs, no misses at all. Unfortunately, no FC on the slider break earlier on, but still a great enough score to give Rebel Conquest a near
I mean,
1 million score difference.
I mean, look at this.
It's
It's
just
the worst score. The worst score on Rubber Conquest is 529k. The best score for OWC France B is 427k. It's a 100k score difference between the worst score for the winning team and the best score for the losing team. Absolute team wipe from Rubber Conquest on that map. And you can bet that if there are any other speed stamina focused maps left in the pool, it's going to be banned out by OWC France B here, because at least on some of these other maps, then we're getting full team wiped like they did on the double time too. That said, I don't really think there are any speed stamina focused maps left in the pool. DT1's gone, DT2's gone, Freemod 1 is gone, Nomod 2 is gone. That's all the tapping maps in the pool outside of the tiebreaker. So all you have left now is banning out whichever of the other skill sets you really don't want them to be able to pick into you. I feel like something similar to the DT3 might be a very good ban for the side of OWC France B. Maybe the Nomad 3, maybe something like a Hard Rock 2. There are really good Hard Rock players on the side of Rubber Conquest, so it's going to be the Hidden One, though. That's also an alt map, so can't say it's a bad ban. That said, you do kind of want to lean into maybe some reading focused maps if you are OWC France B. Just pick anything else, anything different from what has already been picked.
No way they're not going to ban Hidden 2. There's no way Rebel Conquest don't ban Hidden 2. And here, if this is the case, this is why you think, oh, it's not. It's Nomad 3 that's been banned, actually. Okay. That does surprise me quite a bit. I mean, I think Hidden 2's OWC France B is far and away best pick here, so I'm surprised to not see that banned. And we've already seen Rebel Conquest being capable on the alt, and Nomad 3 is one of the alt aim control maps, so surprising to see that banned here. And it makes you think, Dio, why on earth did OWC France B open the match with double time 1? You know Rebel Conquest are good on mechanics, and even if you are competent on this, why take it instead of not waiting for Rebel Conquest to go for it? You could even ban it if you really wanted to. Now they don't have a single point on the board. They almost took a very silly risk of letting Hidden 2 get banned, which Rebel Conquest surprisingly didn't run into. And yeah, I'm expecting a Hidden 2 pick if OWC France B. What do you think, Dio?
I could see Hidden 2. I could see Freemod 2. I don't think they're going to pick either of the Hard Rocks or Nomad 1 right now. Maybe a Curveball Nomad 5. It's so different from the Nomad 4 that I think it's fine to pick that. And yeah, that is the other map that I think is fine for them to pick. It's not going to be a low approach rate map for this roster. I think the main reason that OWC France B is not going for this low approach rate pick is because not all of their roster is low approach rate players. I don't know if we've seen Charlie in the lobby so far either. I don't know if that MP link, that is not updated. So I don't know if we've seen Charlie on any of these maps either, which is probably a part of the reason why they're not going for low approach rate. He's one of the hidden players on this roster, so he's probably not here, if I had to guess, since we haven't seen him already. Pretty good all-rounder, pretty good hidden player. This Nomad 5 is what you think of when you think slider tech nowadays. I think Half Slash put it as the map you show people to scare them off of slider tech. It's really, really heavy on just slider follow aim as opposed to the Nomad 4 where it was all about flow aim. There's a little bit of a flow aim requirement on here, obviously, but it's 150 BPM, so very low BPM. Zubs with a full missed arrow. Rocky will find the early slider break. Nusu also breaking on the intro section. And this map actually does look good at the start for OWC France B. TFGE, Nusu, and Zubs all breaking. Musty's going to find a drop again, so will a Rocky. It's Chihuahua versus V-Prod and Fie with the full combos intact a quarter of the way into the map. Not even a quarter of the way into the map. This is such a long pick, and scores are already basically gone for both teams.
Yeah, this No. 5, we've seen it, you've already mentioned it. It's a really brutal map, one of those maps you've used to scare someone away from slider tech. And it is also the highest ranked on the force scale, a scaling that we are using at the moment to kind of compare how brutal and I guess you could say unforgiving or uncomfortable maps are. It is the highest map with a 7.5 rating by map callers. very, very brutal, very unforgiving, and you are seeing it here with the myriad of low scores in this first third here, Dio. There is a big combo advantage in favor of Rubber Conquest so far. Chihuahua and Zubs looking very, very good with GFGA with a competent recovery. You do still have B-Prod with the combo that's kind of keeping them at bay just a little bit, but really not by much. And drop from Meraki on that zigzag pattern. And we're going into another build-up session with this PI. VA's got the recovery, same with Musty, but Chihuahua has not dropped down his combo just yet. Zubs has his back with TFGE as well. Nusu also recovering up to 350. And so the lead is slowly extending now in favor of Rubber Conquest, approaching 100k, but Zubs goes down. It's still in favor of Rubber Conquest though, and Musty does go down, so does VA along with the Raki. Three-way miss here for OWC France B. It's all up to B-Prod to try and fight back in any way possible, but the combo simply leans so much more in favor of Rubber Conquest. Nusu may go down, and despite that being a valuable recovery combo, it's not what you want. Chihuahua's still on a rampage.
You still have the FC here for B-Prod, but it's matched by the FC on Arj, and there's still a big combo on TFGE as well. You basically need both of those to drop if you want B-Prod to carry this for OWC France B. Zubs will drop again. That's not the combo that you needed. Chihuahua actually almost got slow slidered in the earlier section. There goes TFGE, but B-Prod will match the break, and that is the map. 220k score lead for Rubber Conquest. Arj could stop playing, and I think it would still go their way right now, as there's just nobody else with any combo in the entire lobby. And once again, the pick for OWC France B will go the way of Rubber Conquest. And we are now match point 5-0. Rubber Conquest looking to clean sweep OWC France B out of the tournament in the runoff bracket. Chihuahua's performance throughout this match, man, you got to give credit where it's due. He has been top scoring almost every single one of these maps for his team, or close to it on very many maps. Has played all 5 of them for his team as well. Is just absolutely hard carrying the team at the moment, and he is one of the difference makers. Like TFGE, Nusu, Zubs are also playing very well, but it's 5 versus 5 right now, and the fact that Chihuahua is top scored 3 maps out of 5 that have been played so far is a big difference maker for this roster.
Yeah, Chihuahua, the single San Marinian superstar, completely wiping the floor with this No Mod 5, with the only FC looking so good. It was an FC, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but I believe it was. I didn't see any breaks from him. He's looking so beautiful. He's done great throughout this entire year, let alone this tournament. The guy's been on a huge improvement spree and just playing so well and showing how good he is, putting San Marino on the board. But he's
putting himself on the board more. Like there's nobody else as San Marino.
putting him as San Marino on the board. Hey, look. It's
he
something,
is San
right?
Marino.
He is San Marino. Yeah, precisely. You know, San Marino is like Arnold to Peru. You know, he is the singular star in his respective nation, and the dude does not cease to disappoint. And with that, Rubber Conquest are 1 map away from securing themselves the next stage and getting themselves that seeding in the knockout bracket. And Hidden 2 is
insult to injury. Rub some salt in it, why don't you? Oh my god.
Rub salt in the wounds, dip them in the ocean, why don't you? That is a brutal pick for Hidden 2 from Rubber Conquest. And I don't know if they're just being ballsy or they're just straight up rubbing it in their face. This is a pick with a lot of cojones.
Yeah, France, a team that is normally known in the World Cups as a very, very good low approach rate rating team. I think this pick is pretty solid, though. If you have to assume if France B hasn't picked this map, they're probably not super comfortable on it themselves. So I think this is still going to go pretty well for Rubber Conquest overall. You look at the scores for both of these teams in the round robin, and it was for Rubber Conquest on the Hidden 2 an average 430k. For OWC on the Hidden 2, they actually didn't even get to play it in the round robin. They didn't play Hidden 1 or Hidden 2 at all in the round robin. So this is a team that probably doesn't want to dip into the hidden pool if they can help it. And again, the Hidden 1 ban definitely says something about that. So I'm expecting this one to be pretty one-sided, honestly, from Rubber Conquest. That said, some of these players aren't necessarily known for low approach rate reading. For example, Zubs isn't really a low approach rate reading player, much more of a hard rock player, if I had to give him kind of a characterization as a tournament player. But TFGE, Chalk Gamer, and Arge are all very, very capable on this, and it's not as if Zubs is particularly bad on it. It's just not his specialty. That said, France doesn't normally disappoint on these low AR hidden picks, and Musty, okay, never mind, twice speak.
Yeah.
I was going to say Musty usually pretty good on these, but geez, oh lord. Everyone missing, in fact.
It's looking rough for both teams here. This hidden 2, of course, being your typical AR reading. This one being a lot more on the flow aim heavy side, with a few like long, weirdly patterned streams that can lead to huge chain misses and awkward misaims and misreads here. We're seeing so many drops from so many players. It's literally just Chihuahua and I believe Thea to be holding on to any major combo. We'll quickly look back and check on that. Yes, it is. No one else is holding on to a combo that's over 100. It is purely the Chihuahua show here. Oh, still holding on to that beautiful full combo, I believe, unless he missed.
That's definitely not a full combo.
Not a full combo. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
still holding on
FC.
to a great combo. Still holding on to a great combo. That break from Thea is going to solidify a much more dominant lead here for Rubber Conquest. CFGE and Chalk Gamer continuously dropping, but Zubs has got a competent recovery here. He does drop though, unfortunately. OWC France B though, they've got some recoveries here. Araki and Musty doing good. B-Prod just unfortunately dropped the combo that was looking good, but Chihuahua is looking too good. And we're approaching the end stage of this map here, and Rubber Conquest have shown utter dominance and destruction in this match. Unfortunately for OWC France B, not only a few pick mishaps, but just unfortunately not having the stuff needed to take him down. And they will be out of Corsace Open, and Rubber Conquest are going to advance.
That was extremely one-sided match from Rubber Conquest. They pretty much just demolish OWC France B there. The lowest score difference throughout the entire match was 240k on the first pick from OWC France B. That DT1 actually ended up being the closest map throughout the match. Everything else was pretty one-sided, including that last pick on the hidden 2. You know, you see 278k as the score difference, but OWC France B didn't even get above 1.5 million, so that is a pretty high margin of score difference there. Just demolition from Rubber Conquest, much of it owed to the consistency and skill cap that Chihuahua brings to this roster. A ridiculous performance from him. Definitely a player who has made a ridiculously good name for himself throughout the course of multiple tournaments. Can't forget about the performances put up by the rest of the roster as well. Lots of really good scores as well from TFGE in particular, who was somebody else who could compete with the best of the players from the side of OWC France B, but cannot understate how ridiculous of a performance Arge had in this match. Played all 6 maps, top scored 4 of 6 maps in the lobby, and was a massive, massive contributor to the victory here for Rubber Conquest, and definitely somebody who other teams playing this roster will need to prep for in the future. They will have another match here for Rubber Conquest. They're going to be facing off against Swag Lords tomorrow at 17 UTC. That'd be about an hour and a half backwards from now, so an hour and a half ago tomorrow, if you want to tune in for that match. We do have one more match today also. That's going to be Ala Gaming, or AG, versus Blue Pants. That is in about an hour and 20 minutes. But yeah, thank you to OWC France B for playing. That was unfortunately the end of their tournament run here. They will drop out in the top 20 of the Corsace Open this year as Rubber Conquest moves into the top 16, guaranteeing themselves a place in the knockout bracket.
Yeah, big congrats to Rubber Conquest. Before we end, I just want to give Nusu some credit, because despite having Arge be such an incredible performer and such an incredible player for this team, Nusu in particular stood out to me for a couple maps, performing very, very well, and I believe actually top scoring the other 2 maps that Arge didn't top score on. So yeah, big credit to that dude. He's doing great, so I just want to give some extra credit to him. But aside from that, Rebel Conquest through absolute dominance and sheer, just pure insane levels of strength and alpha energy protruding through, just telling OWC France B, this is my lobby, this is my game, I'm going through and you're not. And yeah, through that, Rebel Conquest will go through and be facing Swag Lords tomorrow. And OWC France B will be out. But that is going to be it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Sheba. Joined by me has been the wonderful Dio. Thank you, Dio, for popping in. It's been wonderful casting with you once again. And with that, we'll be off. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you around.